YouTube. It's kind of been a minute since I made an update. It's been about 7 months. That's a while. I know I probably look a little bit different. I'm in a different room, obviously. A lot has changed, like a lot. Negatives, positives, as you know, that's kind of how life is. It ebbs and flows. But here we are. So let's kind of get into it. If you don't know me, my name is Kyle. I'm 18 years old, and I am currently on a mission to reach financial freedom in order to become the best version of myself and to help others to do the same. As cheesy as that might sound, right? It's the reality of my ambitions. 8 months ago, I moved nearly or over 5,000 miles away from my hometown in Alaska down here to Tampa, Florida, in order to do door-to-door sales, selling solar panels, which is kind of the place to be for that offer. Why? I'll give you kind of the short version for why I decided to do that. But really what it came down to is later in my high school years, I started to kind of think and realize that, like, you know, the traditional path outside of high school, you go to college, you get a corporate job for the most part, and you kind of climb the ranks to reach, you know, kind of a max of some 6-figure salary a year. You know, you take 2 vacations. There's just not a lot of freedom that it entails, right? There are obviously other jobs that you can do that have very high earning potential, such as a doctor or a lawyer, but I don't want to go into debt, for one, and also that would require me to sacrifice 5-10 years of schooling, and I'm not trying to do that, because to me, time is the most valuable asset that we have. So it's like, my goal is to maximize the amount of time. Well, Alex Hormozi defines it as leverage. See, the way he defines leverage is the difference between what you put in and what you get out. And so I saw a statistic a while ago that was like 1/3 of our lives in America are spent sleeping, 1/3 is spent at work, and then the other, you know, 1/3 is spent doing the other miscellaneous activities that we have to do in our lives, right? Which is wild to me, because we have relatively short lives here on this earth. So it's like, kind of sent some chills down my bones, and it's like, okay, well, you know, maybe it doesn't have to be that way. Maybe there's a way for me to maximize the amount of time, that way I can have more to spend on things that I want to, that I'm passionate about, and things that I feel like matter. And so that's really what I'm doing. That's kind of why I came out here. Right now, I guess the idea behind that is people tend to trade their time for money. It's kind of like slavery, you know, but like, it's modern day. There's better terms and conditions to it, but nonetheless, it's a trade that people have to make, you know, for livelihood. I guess the other thing I realized behind that, and I guess on that same note, is everything requires money. Like, you need money to have housing, you need money to have insurance and pay your bills and get a good education. It's crazy to me. So I know money does not solve all problems, and it can even create problems of its own when you have it, right? But it does allow for you to solve a lot of problems, and it does provide you with leverage to solve the non-monetary ones as well, right? I think at the end of the day, money is just a tool, and it can, depending on obviously whose hands it's in, can be used for good or it can be used for bad, right? But it does provide you with more influence and ability, more leverage, basically. But I'll talk all day if I don't shut up, so let's get going. If you want to learn a little bit more about like the thought process behind why I decided to move out here 8 months ago, I'll leave a link in the description of this video to the video that I made when I was a wee 17-year-old young lad, kind of, you know, prior to flying out here. My intention with YouTube was to record 2 videos, or I believe a video every 2 weeks, or 2 videos a month, to kind of keep updates on the journey and whatnot. Obviously, I failed to do that, which I'll kind of get into why later on this video. But my idea behind this video, this comeback, is to, I guess, tell my story up to this point, you know, what the job's been like for me, how it's changed my life, and I guess give sort of my idea or vision of what I want this channel to look like moving forward, because I haven't forgotten about YouTube. It's still a big passion of mine and something that I want to pursue. So let's kind of go into it and talk a little about what it is that I do, right? What kind of does this job entail, just to give you an idea of kind of what is the opportunity that I flew across the country to pursue. And that is door-to-door sales for the sales of solar systems. It's pretty simple, really. I mean, I work for a company called Legacy Power. They're based out of Lehi, Utah. I've been in business since 2014, and they have a affiliate partnership with Home Depot through our financer. Really, kind of the premise behind what we do is solar panels produce electricity. Everybody and their grandma uses, electricity and pays an electric bill at the end of every month. And people tend to not like it when their utility bills increase, which with the fuel costs amongst other variables these past few years in America, everybody is seeing higher utility bills, right? Especially in a state like Florida where and this is majority of how it is in the United States, power companies are monopolized and they continue to go up every single year. People have zero control. To produce energy on site using the sun is just cheaper. It's just cheaper than going out and paying a utility company to mine fossil fuels, to process all that and convert it into electricity and then ship it to your house, right? And then you also have to pay for all of the certain storm charges and taxes that come on with it, a bunch of excess fees. So bottom line, I don't want to get too deep into it, but solar is just cheaper, especially when you live in a state like Florida. It just makes sense. But most homeowners have some level of buying resistance, like they do not want to be sold because they do not want to be taken advantage of, and rightly so. I would not want to be taken advantage of as well. I think it's fair that they have a negative disposition to people knocking on their door trying to sell them stuff, but it is part of the job. What I really like about the offer that we have with solar though is everybody already pays an electric bill. Like everybody is paying an electric bill. It's a bill they're already paying. And what we are able to do is if they get a lot of sunlight on their house, we simply delete the electric bill that they pay every month and continues to go up on them, and we replace it. We'd swap out that bill for a lowered payment that stays the same and it's locked into a fixed rate. So like I said, it's just the more economical of two options that you have. And to put it simply, if I was a homeowner in Florida, I would get solar panels on my house, like knowing what I do now in a heartbeat. It's a logical decision at the end of the day. And so I think it's cool to have a product that you can believe in and know that it's helping people out, right? And that you're not just, scamming people or going out to make a buck and only help your pocket. That's really how it works. I mean, the logistics, it's kind of obviously it's a door-to-door job, so we are assigned neighborhoods. We knock on people's houses, find the homeowners that are home, and we present the offer. Like, hey, you pay this much to Tico, right? Okay. If I can lower it, can I show you the numbers? That's really all that it is. That's what my job would be like a setter. It's a setter-closer model. So there's setters, obviously, and there's closers. And then there's how it works is newer guys are setters, right? So they go out, they knock on doors, they set appointments for the return closer to come back and close the deal, right? Obviously, it's a commission split. It is 100% commission-based, so there's no salary, there's no hourly, there's no base pay. It's sink or swim. Like you gotta sell, you gotta make it work. Now that I've kind of delved into a little bit about how the job works, I'll give you kind of like an honest review. Okay, how has it worked for me? I remember when I made my last video, one of my last videos when I was still in Alaska, I was like, consider this a thought experiment. Does this work? I didn't know, and there was a lot of points that I still don't. I still feel like, well, we'll see, right? You never really feel like you've made it. Obviously, that's kind of part of growth. I moved out here March 1st, 2023. I had around $3,500 in my bank account and 2 bags with all my belongings in them. Coming into this job, I had really high hopes. Like, I don't know why, but I thought I was gonna crush it. Like, I thought I was gonna my goal was to make $200,000 in the first 6 months, which excuse me, that'd be a little over 30K a month, which would equate to roughly 13 solar installs, which is comically naive looking back at it, but I kind of had no frame of reference, so I aimed high, I guess. It was kind of the other way around. The market in Florida, it's quite a bit more knocked. than when I was knocking for my first time out in Utah, in a small town of Richfield, where nobody has probably ever knocked in the history of mankind, which is a hyperbole, but it's more knocked, and the people are a little bit meaner. Like, people here, I mean, maybe it's just because everybody's from like New York and New Jersey, but people are not like there's some nice people, but like. So yeah, first couple months I really got my teeth kicked in. The first month that I was out there, I did get 6 closes, which to this day that's the most that I've ever gotten in a month. Unfortunately, 5 out of those 6 closes ended up canceling, which is part of the job, and you do not get paid unless your solar account installs. That was pretty disparaging. I was like, oh shoot, well, are all my deals gonna cancel? Like, does this job work? That first month that we were in, that first month that we were here, living conditions were pretty rough. I know we were in like a 2-bedroom apartment with like 9 dudes. I was sleeping on I'll just show you in the next clip, but I was sleeping on 2 couch cushions that I like duct taped together. Yeah, it was wild. I mean, like a month in, me and my buddies, some of my coworkers decided to move out because that was just not a good living situation, being with so many people in an apartment. And so we moved to where we are now, which is a nicer apartment complex. Yeah, I'll kind of cue that. All right, 39 days out here in Tampa, Florida, and we are going to try and get our own today. This is all of our stuff. Ian, you ready to get our own place, bro?
Yes, sir. How the freak does this work?
It's Easter Sunday today. We're gonna be in this apartment for about a day or so. This is where I'm staying right now. Dax, if you're watching this, shout out to you. And
guess where he's staying? The closet.
One accomplishment that I had, obviously, besides moving here to my apartment, which I guess I don't know if I should name or not. I don't know who's gonna watch this, but I got a car, and that was like probably 4 months ago or something. But just check it out; it's honestly a beauty. She goes pretty quick. She's got a really good 0 to 10 miles per hour, and yeah, she's a beast. So fast forward to about 3 months in, things were really not looking too hot. I had gotten down to like $600 in my bank account. I had no money coming in, and I really wasn't sure if I was gonna make it work. Like, I was so stressed out. I was trying to figure out ways to make money. I thought about getting a second job and starting to donate plasma, and there was just a lot of uncertainties that came with that period. Actually, it was the 3rd month. It was that month that I got my first check. I think it was later in, let's see, May. Later in May, I got my first check, and it was like $2,500 from the 2 deals that I had that ended up installing from the Utah Blitz that I first went on, which was helpful severely. And at that point, like moving into like month 4 and 5, started to get some more consistent installs, some more consistent paychecks. So it was a little bit of a breath of fresh air. I still felt pretty stagnant as my numbers, weren't really progressing, but I was stacking up some cash in the bank account, and it was helpful to see. But really, like, for me, the last 3 months have been the most growth for me as far as production and money earned, right? Like, the last 3 months, I got a lot better at setting. I had a lot more consistent closes and close to install rates, a lot less cancels, and I also started self-genning. So that's like the next step from setting, is where you go and you close your own deals, which I'll get into shortly. I feel like up to this point, like now that I've kind of seen some of the money that's associated with the job personally, I've a little bit more grasped the opportunity that solar has to offer, and I'm pretty bought in. Like, I don't know how long I'm gonna be in the industry, but for the foreseeable future, because I think there's a lot to capitalize in the industry. So just full transparency, up to this point, 8 months in, I'm sure you probably would want to know, I would want to know as a, somebody that hasn't made any leap of faith to go and try something like this. Since March 1st, I've made around $38,000 just, money transferred into my bank account. Obviously it's 1099, so come 1 month from now, we'll figure out taxes. We'll see. I'll probably, I don't know, just not pay them. Just playing. Yeah, it's nice to, now be able to pay for the entirety of my groceries and not have to worry about basic living necessities. one of the reasons I stopped posting YouTube videos was because since my money was getting so low, my back was against the wall. I was stressed, and making YouTube videos and kind of documenting the process wasn't at the top of my mind. It was like, how do I make rent? How do I, have enough money to afford to eat? So that's really what my focus was. And obviously I could have probably made time to make videos. I did make some videos actually, that I still have, more like private updates. Obviously I was in a lower point at that time, so it was not really positive content that I would have wanted to post. But, that's the reality of the job, and that's, it's a struggle. Like, it is a struggle. It's hard. I'll definitely be releasing some of that content later in this on this channel, likely. Next portion of this video is going to be what's the next step for me. The way that I view this job, honestly, is in the way that I view life, and I mentioned this in the Alaska video, it is just like a game. Like, there are levels to this game. There are ways to progress to the next level, and it's pretty simple. Mostly just XP at the end of the day experience. You start off with this job level 1 as a setter. You set appointments, you get a commission split. The more closes you get, the higher your commission split gets. Obviously there's a peak to that. I hate being sick. After you get pretty good at setting, you can start closing your own deals, which you become a self-gen closer, which is the level that I'm currently at, so level 2. Benefits of that is you get fatter checks, and you get to learn how to close deals. The next step is to get setters under you, to bring on setters and to close their deals for them, right? That way you have more volume and you can make more money, and you can also help others to get on their feet and learn the basics of the job. That's kind of what my next step is, and that's one of the reasons I'm on YouTube now, is to spread the opportunity to others. Is I need to bring 1 to 3 people onto the team. I need to take them under my wing. Now that I know, I will say the thing that helped me the most in becoming successful in this job is my leaders and people that have done it before and know what I needed to do to get to the next level, right? I guess it's like if I wanted to beat Minecraft, if I played with somebody who I'd already beaten the game, it's going to be a lot easier than if I just try by myself, right? You don't have to reinvent the wheel to be successful, as they say. You can just kind of like copy and paste it. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. I guess there's a difference between something that is simple and something that is easy. There can be something that's simple that is really hard, and I think that's the case for this job. Is it's really simple, it's just not easy. Yeah, I mean, it's a really good system. We got a really good team of guys that are all trying to become better versions of themselves and trying to improve for the most part. And it's a good culture of growth. Everybody wants to see everybody else win. I'm very thankful to have been, I kind of lucked out with the company. I lucked out with my team. So, Wolfpack. So I know there's probably gonna be about 4 people that watch this video initially. So if you know me, or even if you don't know me, and this sounds like something that could be of interest to you, give me a text, give me a call. If you don't have my number, just leave a message down below in the comment section, and we can touch bases and see if it's something that would be suitable for you and suitable for us. I do think anybody can do it for the most part if they're willing to learn, willing to adapt, and willing to work hard. Like, that's really all that it takes. Like I said, it's simple, but it's not easy. As I said before, I do not know how long I'm going to be in the solar industry for, but for the foreseeable future, because solar is the highest return on investment opportunity that I have at my fingertips right now. And so my goal moving forward in the solar industry is to capitalize on leverage, basically, to basically find a way to sell more. That's really all that it is. But dude, solar is going to be huge, especially in Florida. We're at 1%, less than 1% residential market penetration. In a state like California, where it's 30%, people are still slinging accounts and making a lot of money. But it's a little harder there for various reasons. You do get paid a lot more though. But like I said, pros and cons. Yeah, like what I'm gonna do throughout the next year is I'm gonna just scale. Okay, I'm gonna figure out, there's people on my team that I want to emulate and I want to make as much money as them. So it's like I need to utilize my network and say, hey, how do I, help me? You know what I mean? Help me, let me learn from you and let me grow. And I will do the same, if you need me to help, whatever. Like it's a reciprocal arrangement. So yeah, as I said earlier, figure out how to maximize leverage in order to maximize my return for the amount of time and effort that I put in. That channel, as far as the YouTube channel Kyle Matson goes, I've got some pretty big plans moving forward with the channel. I'm pretty excited, honestly, and I'm very happy to have finally, you know, got my wits together and made this comeback video. I'm not completely broke right now, and so I have a little bit more free time and energy I can put towards content creation. It's always been something I've taken a liking to. If you look back on my videos from, like, you can sort it from like oldest to newest. You can go back, like, I don't even know if it was like 10 years, I don't even know. Oh, quite a long time ago. My first video was probably like 7 or 8 years ago, and I was just doing flips, like trying to be a stuntman as a 10-year-old. Other than that, my main goal with this channel moving forward is to document my progress in my journey of not just business, but in life and in learning. I'm very ignorant as a 18-year-old idiot. I think it's cool that people can learn from other people's mistakes. So there's gonna be a lot of mistakes that I make along this journey that is my life. And I hope to inspire others to take bigger risks and to go and do life bigger and to provide value at the end of the day. You know, it's not just entertainment. I want to provide value and help people to grow and be a positive influence on this world. So I got a lot of like really big inspirations as far as YouTube and content creation goes that I would love to emulate. Like obviously Alex Hormozi probably being the pinnacle of that. Eamon Gadzhi, Sebastian Georgiou, Jordan Welch, it's Luke Belmar, I don't know honestly. But all these guys, I would love to make content like them and provide value and build a big network and build an empire, right? And of influence and a community around growth. Because that's really what I'm fascinated by, is improvement and growth. So, like I said, I'm not entirely sure what kind of content I'll be posting. It'll be a lot of sales content, a lot of lifestyle content, you know, gym content, whatever it is, mental models, philosophy, theology, like we'll get into everything. So if you like any of those topics, then stay tuned. I think there's going to be some pretty cool content coming out. Hopefully it wasn't too underwhelming, and hopefully I didn't bore you with all of my stuttering and pauses. You know, it's going to take me a minute to get back on well, I guess it's going to take me a minute to adjust to just being in front of the camera and talking to it like I'm talking to a friend or a person. But I think it's going to be really helpful for me because it's the same reason I love to write. Any form of creation, it allows me to formulate my thoughts, structure them into a way that is simple and learn, right? I feel like most things are a form of you learn it and then you teach it. It's literally what I do for a living. Is I understand what the offer is and I have to teach people what that offer is. And so the medium for that is either, words and writing or in conversation. And so it's just different when I'm talking on my phone on a tripod. So that's really all that I have for everybody today. I'm going to try and be posting once a week, probably on Sundays or Saturdays. So stay tuned for that. I think the content's going to be really good. So, bye-bye.